Assalamu alaikum. Good afternoon. Namaste and Sat Sri Akal. I am really honored to be here, and I congratulate the chairman, Ulema Aman Committee, and the entire team for organizing such a wonderful event, which is indeed a need of the era. But I just felt that we should be bilingual because most of the people can't understand because English is not our first language. So I'll try to be bilingual so that people sitting at the back could also understand what we are talking today. It is indeed, as I said earlier, peace is not the issue of Pakistan only, but it is issue of the universe. Because we are divided into two prominent blocks nowadays. As a matter of fact, I don't have a written speech, but I will say from my heart what I feel. Because what I feel that since 9/11, we are divided into two blocks. And the need of working for peace and peaceful coexistence has increased tremendously. What we can see in Pakistan, that even in our flag, we have two colors which are very prominent. And one color represents Islam or the Muslim majority, whereas the other color, white, represents the minorities living in Pakistan and also represent peace, because white is the color of peace. And being from the minority, I'm Christian myself, I can understand the gravity, I can understand the problems being faced by the non-Muslims living in Pakistan. And there are hundreds and hundreds of cases I can see. और उसमें आप देखते हैं कि पाकिस्तान का जो झंडे का रंग है, उसमें भी दो नुमाया कलर्स हैं, एक है ग्रीन और एक वाइट है. ग्रीन जो रिप्रेजेंट कर रहा है वो मुस्लिम मेजॉरिटी को रिप्रेजेंट करता है, जबकि जो वाइट कलर है वो रिप्रेजेंट कर रहा है नॉन मुस्लिम पाकिस्तानीज़ को. और यहाँ पे मेरे साथी दोस्त क्रिश्चियंस भी बैठे हैं, हिंदूज भी बैठे हैं, खालिद साहब बैठे हैं, बिल्लू साहब बैठे हैं, पंडित साहब बैठे हैं. They can also watch, they can tell you that how much problems the minorities are facing, and it is such a wonderful effort of Ulema Aman Committee that we should respect our flag. Because if we are now talking about living peacefully and all the religions can live together in harmony, that means we are going to respect the vision of the kite and the flag. Because if two colors in the flag can live together forever, because if we take one color out of the flag, then it will be no more Pakistani flag. So there are almost 9 different minorities living in Pakistan. And number 10 is, if we include the whole flag, then it means that 10 different religions are living in Pakistan. So why do we need to talk about peace? Because most of the times, and we can see, we are divided on the basis of religions, we are divided on the basis of masliks, we are divided on the basis of, it's not the matter of interfaith only, it's a matter of intrafaith. ये सिर्फ इंटरफेथ की बात नहीं, पर इंट्राफेथ की भी बात है, जहाँ पे हम बात अभी चेयरमैन साहब कर रहे थे कि ज़रूरत है कि ना कोई यहाँ पे देवबंदी का कहे, ना कोई कहे कि मैं दूसरे फिरके से हूँ, बल्कि हम सबसे पहले क्या हैं? सबसे पहले क्या है? Insa, thank you, Elray. We are human beings in the first, because when God created man, I would like to request and submit this demand from this platform, Chairman Saab, that the government of Pakistan, PMLN, if they are really serious to promote interfaith harmony and peace in the country, they should separate National Harmony Ministry from the religious ministry. Because ज़रूरत है कि religious ministry से national harmony के ministry को अलग किया जाए. अगर हम हकीकी तौर पर चाहते हैं कि पाकिस्तान में गवर्नमेंट लेवल पर ये काम हो सके, क्योंकि इस तरह की तंजीमें, इस तरह की गवर्नमेंट्स बहुत सारा काम कर रहे हैं, तंजीमें काम कर रही, बट गवर्नमेंट को भी चाहिए कि वो भी अपना कंट्रीब्यूट करे. और मैं चेयरमैन साहब से कहूँगा कि वो भी ज़रूर आवाज़ बुलंद करें कि नेशनल हार्मनी मिनिस्ट्री अगर अलग हो तो बहुत सारा कंट्रीब्यूशन आपके लिए हो सकता है. इन द एंड आई वुड लाइक टू कोट वन very famous verse, and as some of the friends quoted, it's the more we sweat in peace, the more we sweat in peace, the less we bleed in war. कि जितना हम अमन के लिए पसीना बहाएंगे और वो अच्छा होगा जितना हम खून बहा रहे हैं. खून कम बहेगा अगर हमारा पसीना अमन के लिए बहे. तो मैं समझता हूँ इसके लिए बहुत सारी तालियां. बहुत शुक्रिया.
The youth entrepreneurship program will implement it in around 16 districts in Pakistan. They will be selected after initiating the project. It will be 28 weeks training and capacity building program that will offer promising youth volunteers access to business training, resources and financial support for the best chance of success in their own new business or self-employment. The youth entrepreneurship program is intended to assist youth in facing barriers to employment. Example of the employment barriers are include but not limited to high school non-completion. Those individuals who for some reason couldn't complete their high school level education. Persons with disability, visible or ethnic minority residing in a rural or remote location, single parents and orphans.
And withdraw from the ignorant ones indicate this. The Quran emphasizes peace and reconciliation as basic to all social and even international relations, as mentioned in the Holy Quran. Paradise, which is reward for the pious, is a place of certainty. Muslims have made every effort to establish peace and serenity everywhere in all divergent fields, only taking military measures when their enemies try to hinder.
So absence of war and conflict is actually, I looked at the definition of Oxford Dictionary, and they're actually saying freedom from the cessation of war, of violence, waki. And then there is also another important kind of peace, which leads to that absence of war or violence, which is freedom from disturbance, quiet and tranquility, which rather deal with your inner peace. And I'd like to go back to a slogan that was used by UN Women a few years ago. I don't always agree with UN Women's slogan, but for once this one was good. And it was peace from home to the world. And I think we need to understand that when we talk about peace, we talk about what is happening within yourself, at home, apki muhalla, within your village, within your wider community, within your country, within your region, and then within the world. So that's a kind of huge circle we are looking at if we talk about peace. And then if we talk about environment, we have two definitions. The first one is the surroundings or conditions in which a person, an animal, a plant lives or operates. And it's also about the natural world as a whole, or in a particular geographical area, especially as affected by human activity. So we need to understand that the way we deal with peace is basically going to affect human beings, our environment, which means our little village, our fellows, our families, and our governance. And if we take example of our daily life of this peace and environment, we will realize that ना शायद हम लोग big तकरीर कर लेंगे peace, aman, environment क्या चीज़ें, लेकिन मैं ये कहना चाहती हूँ कि हम लोग वाकई daily हमारे गांव में कैसे हो रहा है. How many of you have heard in your village of disputes around the well for water? मेरे तरफ पानी ना मेरे ज़मीन के लिए मुझे पानी चाहिए और वो बल आदमी करेंगे कि नहीं नहीं मेरे तरफ चाहिए. So for example, the scarcity of water creates conflict that can lead to killings. I'm a French lady, but I'm married to a gentleman who comes from Swabi, Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, and I can assure you that killings due to water disputes are not an uncommon reality. Dispute between neighbors. ये मेरे कूड़े, उनकी कूड़े मेरे दरवाजा के साथ क्यों लगा दिया? ठीक है? You know that reality. Why did you put the garbage bag next to my door? And then you start, fighting over it, and you'll have the neighbor disputes. The economy at a global level, which is war-based, we're talking about peace and we're talking about environment protections. But the biggest business in the world rely on weapon sales, and for weapon sales, you use weapon sales for wars. And for wars, you need energy, you need fuel, you need gas, you need all this, and you also wage war because you're interested in whether saving your resources and taking the resources of other countries away, or ensuring that those countries cannot use or bank and capitalize upon those resources because it might, not fit the global scenario that your country wants to share. You look at Siachen war between India and Pakistan, it's very much about a glacier. You look at the conflict in the Middle East between Palestine and Israel, it's very much about water management. You look at what's happening in Africa by the Western countries who try to use the mineral resources like uranium. I'm talking about France. It's a human rights scandal, and we do that because uranium is useful for a nuclear exercise. So my point here is peace and environment is an intersectional issue, and that's very important. In a more tangible manner also, when you know that one of our big challenges is the climate change, and because of climate change, we have floods, we have scarcity of water, we have drought, and because of that, we also have displacement of population. जब सैलाब हो रहा है, आपको पता है ना, वो लोग एकदम दूसरी जगह पे आ रहा है, and then they lose everything they have, and there is a huge problems in terms of, again, distribution of resources, helping those people, and then when those groups of people are displaced, they move with their families, they move with children. Within the camps that are made for internally displaced people or refugees, you also know that those situations are highly vulnerable situations for the protection of children. The level of commercial and sexual exploitation, of child labor, of domestic violence, of even violations of men themselves increase within those very vulnerable situations. So if we want to achieve peace, we need to give priority to environmental issues as well. I have not invented that idea. Some very famous researchers have talked about this before. I'd like to quote Konka and Wallace, who have basically talked and noted the relationship between environmental peace-building projects and studies of environment and conflict. What we need to look at is what we have at a structural level, what we have at an institutional level, and what we have at a sociocultural level. So, for example, when we look at our laws that relate to climate change or to environment in general, for example, we're supposed to have forbidden the use of plastic bags in Pakistan. आप देखिए आपका गांव में कितने plastic bags मौजूद है ज़मीन में या road के सामने, ठीक है? That's an example. We're talking about peace, but then how many women or children or people from minorities were actually consulted in a significant and inclusive manner when Pakistan was developing its national action plan?
And I will quote Prince Charles having said some time ago, before he floated a number of NGOs, including Chakrama. And that is, he said, and it has become a slogan throughout the UK, I served in UK a couple of years back, and the slogan was, you start building peace by building it at home, you bring it in the mind, and the peace without will come automatically, which is philosophically speaking, and I believe in that, and it's true. And if you recall spirituality or even metaphysics of the English poets, and if you recall our Sufism in the same context, it means almost the same thing. Everything begins in your mind, and everything right begins in your mind, and everything wrong can also begin in your mind. When it is positive, you go forward with positivity, you do things in positive ways, and you look forward to the others in the positive approach. But if you have somehow developed the negative aspects, then you go negatively in all around. However, I believe, and I think all of you will agree, and of course our chief guest, he will also agree with me and the host, Dr. Akulur Rahman Pirzada, and our Miss Valerie Khan will also agree that if you start a process in the same way, and you can go for it automatically. And if there is peacekeeping to be done, it has to be peacemaking first. How do you make peace in the first place? And you do that by only delving into the subject of your mind. Even terrorism, extremism, violence that you talk about these days, not only in Pakistan, throughout the world, the very basic reason is the mindset, what you do. And in the mindset, you have to have things that you have to recover from that. And again, I'll quote Ms. Valerie Khan, that all the issues, talk about climate change, talk about peacekeeping, talk about issues, the garbages, the environmental issues, everything relates to the mindset. And she said that to you, that if somebody comes to you in the neighborhood and leaves a piece of garbage, bundle, what do? You have to make the other person aware that this needs to be rectified. You don't leave it like that, but that means amal, the action has to be taken. And if you take action, everything will be all right. Now, I will just quote a few things. Give peace a chance. War is expensive. Peace is priceless. Love thy neighbor. Peace is sane. War is insane. And so many others also. There are so many slogans. My subject was Sustainable Development Goals and Building Blocks for Peace. Now, SDGs, as related by Ms. Valerie Khan, is Sustainable Development Goals. You have to use that to build your capacity. And Sustainable Development Goals were introduced by the United Nations. And there are about 17 of them which are very, very important. And education is a key factor. To raise awareness and to do campaigns for all issues and problems in our life, you have to raise awareness. And that you do by, building capacity.
And with importance comes responsibility in building the peace we are looking for. Because it is true what Valerie said in her very important speech, that the world is at war. It has always been at war because of conflict of interests. The very dangerous evolution we have seen since 9/11, but even after 9/11, is that to the conflict of interest, there has been added a conflict of identities, which is extremely dangerous. Muslims against Christians, Hindus against Muslims, Hindus against Buddhists, Buddhists are against nobody. Everybody against everybody else. This is extremely dangerous. And whereas you can regulate in some way a conflict of interest, there are very few ways in which you can address a conflict of identity. If I perceive you as different and dangerously different, I will not be at peace with you. And this is the evolution which has taken place today in the last 20 years. An evolution which is, I speak very clearly, even if I'm an ambassador, mainly by us, the West, so-called West, whatever that means,